Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad. This is episode 78 on April 18th, 2018. I am Clyde. Today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello everybody.
Back home in sunny Florida, Jimmy Trammell.
Back in the land of the warm.
Florida man himself.
Yes. Hello everyone.
And over in Washington, we've got our own personal Matthew Ross.
I'm curious, is Florida Man one of the men from that They Might Be Giants song?
No, Florida Man is the story of like pretty much every news article ever.
Oh.
Florida Man, enter. Florida Man, you know, fill in the blank.
It is true.
Okay.
So
Okay.
next time you hear someone mention Florida Man, you know what you're in on the ground for.
Right.
Guys, what's going on?
Too much stuff.
It's been
Too bad.
It's been a crazy week since I last spoke to you guys.
Right?
Blizzards and more blizzards. We got
Really?
like almost 2 feet of snow on Saturday. Everybody keeps saying it's spring, but
What is that? Somebody said online to me, it's not April the 18th, it's January the 96th.
exactly. And you know, and that's why when Jimmy said it was going to be 70 in Chicago, I laughed because I knew it was going to be 30 here. And then the next day I saw the picture from the Weather Channel that showed the map of the Midwest, and there was a line that went up and around Chicago. Everything on that line was like 70s and 80s, and above that line was the 30s. So there's somebody like right in the middle where they look across the street and they don't have, you know, they're wearing shorts, but on your side of the street it's like snowing.
Yeah, we had a cold snap here too. I had to wear a jacket for the first couple hours of the morning the last few days. Still could wear shorts, but needed a jacket to be comfortable.
Yeah,
Indeed.
the air conditioners didn't run at night, you know, for me
Yeah.
last night. So
Yeah, it's one of those weeks that's just been really cold and almost unpleasantly so, huh?
yeah,
It's typical April for us up here.
Yeah, it's so cold that Jimmy doesn't have any gators in his yard. They're off seeking warmth someplace.
yeah.
All right, hey, we've got Matt Strikes Again. If you could see the show doc, you would see you're in for a wild ride.
Okay, so shall we take this like lightning style or what?
We'll just do our thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with the story about Hidden Figures, that movie that came out a couple of years ago, about black women helping with the space race back in the 60s. And it looks like who picked it up? Hulu or Amazon? I believe Amazon picked it up in order to make a whole series about that whole movie.
I like this. I like this story.
Okay.
Yeah. It is interesting. Now, so was it Amazon or was it kind of looked like it was National Geographic, but maybe
Sure.
I misread that.
Absolutely right. It is National Geographic. I thought it was Amazon. That was my mistake.
See, I never saw this movie because when it was in the theaters, I thought it was a movie about Sharia law. And, you know, all the women have to cover up and, you know, so.
Yeah.
No, and I'm serious. I had no idea what this movie was about until after it was out of theaters and people were talking about it, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I didn't catch the movie, but it looked pretty good. A movie about women in maybe not technology, but in the sciences field, which especially in the day that this actually happened, that was completely unheard of,
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a big deal, and I heard good things about the movie. I think that it'll be a good TV show. Probably not something I will watch. I don't tend to watch historically based movies. This is kind of one of the things that apparently National Geographic's been trying to do lately. Historically relevant and historically set TV shows that give you kind of like an insight to what society was like at that time, and so it'll be good to see. It'll be interesting. I probably won't watch it. But.
So
I
what,
actually go ahead.
So what would get you to watch it, Mike? If they put aliens in there, would you watch it then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there were aliens and explosions, but
What if the ladies were constant or dressed in a way that showed off their figures?
Ah.
Ooh.
yeah, still probably not, unless there were aliens and explosions. But
Aliens and explosions. That's the
But-
thing. So I actually did see this movie twice.
oh, okay. Tell us
So
about it. You like
it's
it?
I did like it. It's a story about, and particularly African American women who were working in the background at NASA. And basically, they were the colored computers because they were the mathematicians, making sure all their calculations were right.
Mhm.
And one of them was asked to move into basically the main office, and she was, of course, basically bullied while she was there by all the other white men. And so it's a movie that does make me, you as in all us white males, feel bad about how bad we were to
No.
females and blacks
wouldn't.
back at that time. But it was a good movie, and it does have a good feel good ending, and it was definitely a good film. So.
All right. Well, rock
Well.
on.
All right, we're going to move on about Netflix. Is the fact that they're not going to Cannes this year because apparently the French have made some rules about what is allowed to be, submitted to Cannes for their festival, and Netflix just doesn't make the cut.
Well,
Yeah.
Even though they won awards, they're not. They don't make the cut.
Well, they were. They showed off a couple movies last year, and people kind of, wasn't too happy about it. This is kind of like the whole Steven Spielberg
Mm-hmm.
Netflix shouldn't be eligible for awards thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this year, Cannes passed some rules that said, well, they don't fit because, blah, blah, blah. And then there was a fight about it, and then it sounded like they were going to, muscle their way in, but now it sounds like Netflix just said, screw it.
Yep. Apparently, the rule is that they introduced the rule saying that if it's not a movie that was shown off in theaters, debuted in theaters in the country first, then they're not allowed to get it to be put in.
Yeah, it's just snooty French people being snooty French people. That's all it is.
Interesting.
Ultimately, the question is what does it benefit Netflix to actually get these awards and to be able to perform it or to air at these shows? And I think that ultimately it doesn't matter. They don't get customers from this. They don't get funding from it from investors and stuff. So I don't think it really makes a difference.
Well, no, it's more about the appearance because Cannes is like the premiere, the creme de la creme of movie festivals. That's, and just being in there gives you notoriety.
Sure.
So
right. But I'm just saying, yeah, they get notoriety, they get awards or whatever, but what ultimately does that benefit them?
Well, it's public perception of the brand as being a legitimate force.
Right.
Yeah.
especially in
And contend that Netflix no longer needs that.
No,
I mean,
they
everybody
don't.
in the world knows who Netflix is, and they know that they produce quality content, and I think that they no longer need that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think it's more about, old media versus new media, right? That kind of thing. And the old media just is snubbing their nose at the new media.
Cannes was the second place in Europe I visited, and I have no desire to go back there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next story we have here is Amazon Studios had a nice little thing where you could actually submit your own amateur scripts to the studio for them to possibly debut as their own shows. But it looks like they're closing that program as of June 30th. So if you've got that killer idea and you just want to be able to get it into Amazon, so maybe it'll be their next great show, you've got about a month, maybe a little more.
Dang it! I better get typing fast. Get that in. Yeah, I mean, these companies are growing up, so this kind of thing is to be expected, in my opinion. Doesn't mean that shows can't still get through, but it means that it's not going to be as easy. And
this is the same Amazon that just recently decided that they're going to be starting to spend tons of money on big productions, like all the money they're spending on this Lord of the Rings thing that they're doing, which is insanity. Seriously, it sounds like there's a little bit of snubbery is going on here.
Well, yeah, they made the decision. They said, "Hey, we don't need a steady influx or a steady flow of ideas. We've got money, and we've established ourselves as a brand. We're just going to go out and commission the stuff that we want to do." So,
well, I think that the difference is my belief is the difference is that before they felt like they needed to petition people to submit stuff, and they needed to take in a lot of it to find the good things. Now they're going to be a lot more selective. They're going to go to people for things, or people that are successful and well established, or people that have the ability to get those connections are the ones that are going to get those ideas in front of them. They don't need to solicit it because they're probably getting far more than they can ever even deal with at this point because they're so big and so successful. And I think ultimately, like I said, that's them growing up. They're no longer the little place that is trying to get anything they can that's good. They now have more than they could possibly do, and any option in the world, really, as is proven by getting Lord of the Rings and being on board for that. So, they've got their choices now, and they can take their pick. They no longer have to try to get as much as they possibly can to find the one thing that they can both make and afford and get licensed and stuff. They've got the power, so. They're a big grown-up company now, and they're going to do things the way a grown-up media company does.
I don't know. Okay, maybe. I don't know. It just seems very funny that they're just basically, they were a couple years ago that, oh sure, you can submit stuff. We're going to be open to all kinds of cool things.
Yeah.
Do whichever you want. Now they're like, no, we're done. We're good. It's okay. It seems a little weird to me.
How many ideas do you think were submitted? That's the thing, and that's probably more than they could make ever.
Oh yeah,
right. That's they don't. That's my point. They've got plenty now.
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
You could be right though. They could just have decided, like, gotten snooty and all uppity from all their success and be like, "This is below us."
Well, that's kind of what they said. But in different words.
Oh, they didn't actually say that. That's horrible.
Jeff Bezos said that from his self-driving car on the moon. But he was being literal.
Yeah.
Everything's below him. Yeah. Or beneath him.
The things that they said is that they're looking for ways to become even more efficient, right? So getting millions of submissions is not an efficient way to handle things when you have the level of success they have. So We'll see.
Okay. All right. Movie Pass teams up with iHeartRadio for a 3-month limited movie plan. Basically, what they're doing here is they're offering a 3 month for $30 plan where you can watch not a movie every day, but instead four 2D movies per month, and so like once every week. And so that's but you do have to get and also a free little edition of iHeartRadio while you have access to it. So it's kind of a mixed bag of you don't want to necessarily pay. Actually, it seems like the prices is about the same.
Yeah, it is. The price is the same, but instead of the movies, you're getting iHeartRadio, which I think is terrible, because if iHeartRadio was worth listening to, iHeartMedia wouldn't be on the verge of bankruptcy.
Right.
Also, well, if you pay the same amount, you're limiting yourself to 4 movies a month versus 1 every day.
You're getting iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
So if you already subscribe to both, you're the
value. You're just reading over it, looking at it, and going, that makes no sense to me. My brain hurts.
Yeah. I mean, to Clyde's point, right? If you're spending money on both already, and you don't go to more than 4 movies a month, then this makes total sense. It saves you $10. If you're somebody that wants a music service and iHeartRadio meets your needs, then you can get both for the same price. You just have the limit to the number of shows. And honestly, most people don't see more than 4 movies a month, so it's probably not a big impact to you. But I stand with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense for most people, I suspect.
No, they're trying to do essentially the same thing that we spoke about with Hulu last week, where Hulu, for your normal ad-supported cost, plus, or basically for $12.99, which is a little bit more than your normal ad-supported cost, you would also get Spotify.
Right.
Except you're not limiting, but you can only watch 4 shows,
Yeah.
That was a good deal. Unless you're paying for ad-free like I am, because then you can't get the deal. But this is ridiculous.
I mean, the thing is, I guess MoviePass is just buying access to iHeartRadio's customers, right? And they're subsidizing that by taking one movie away, right?
Yeah.
Not one movie; they're taking a
6
ton of
movies a
movies,
week.
because normally you can go to a movie every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're losing like
6 movies a week.
Yeah.
26 movies. So, but here's the thing. Like, I think you're right on point. That this is MoviePass saying, we bet that the iHeartRadio subscribers that sign up for this will decide to stick around for MoviePass, and that will get us new customers. The iHeart customers are saying, I bet that if we get people to sign up for this with MoviePass, they'll either stick with this, which gives us a new customer at a discounted rate, or they'll subscribe to our service and we'll make money. So it's a win-win for both. And this is a really good deal if you like what our iHeartRadio offers. This is actually a good deal if you don't look at it in comparison to MoviePass itself, right? You get the streaming music service, and you get 4 movies a month at a price that's way lower than you can go see 4 movies. It's it's lower than the price of 1 movie.
Yeah, I just had a thought, and looking back on my MoviePass usage when I was still a subscriber, that was very rare that I went to more than 1 movie a week.
Exactly.
So, it feels bad. It feels bad to say, oh, you're missing out, but in reality, you're gaining. You're still seeing the same amount of movies as you would, because, you don't get multiple movies released each week that you probably want to see. So, I still think it's a bad deal just because it's iHeartMedia or iHeartRadio. Because
I mean, insert other music service that you like. Like
Yeah,
if this was
with Spotify,
if this
I'd
was
sign up.
Spotify,
Yeah.
or if this was YouTube Red with Google Music, this would be amazing. Everybody would be like, "Wow, what a deal! 4 movies with my YouTube Red, or 4 movies with my Spotify. I love it."
Mm-hmm.
But iHeartRadio, people are like, "Do I really want to have to do that? No, I'll just do the $10 movie pass, and then if I do want to go to 2 movies, I can."
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so the big question is going on right now: is the Apple HomePod failing?
You're cutting out really bad.
Oh, I am?
Oh.
I am?
You're better now.
I am better. Well, so the question is coming up right now is how well is the Apple HomePod doing compared to its competition? And according to a couple of people, especially Bloomberg, they're maybe not doing so well, only earning 10% of the market share right now.
Yeah. Like the title, is Apple's HomePod failing? They should have renamed that to flailing, because that's what I think it's doing.
So
I don't think that's a fair statement.
Do you like yours, Jimmy?
I do like it. I don't know, the whole smart speaker market. I mean, I like it. I use it. I listen to music with it. One thing that I like about it is I can use it for a speakerphone on conference calls. That's really kind of handy, especially when I'm working here at home, of course. But I don't know. I mean, I think the mistake that Apple made here, they didn't get it out before Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
If they got it out before Christmas, then I don't think there would be any story at all. But but the whole thing is, I think they're selling all right. All the article is saying, and all anybody is saying, is that they cut their orders for new hardware. Right?
Yeah, because they're not making this projected sales. But the article starts off with a point that I think is the most important. It says, that it's or where did it go? It says that it's not really competing with less expensive hardware like Sonos. Sonos is not cheap.
No.
And if that's considered less expensive in comparison, there's your big problem, because Sonos is very high quality. I'd say probably better quality sound but yeah, I think the price is the biggest thing. If this came out like maybe $100 cheaper, then they'd probably be selling a lot more. But
okay, so I'm going to actually make an argument for Apple here, and that sounds really weird coming from me. They're very new to the market.
Yeah,
and they've already got 10%. So maybe if this is just a slow on ramp kind of thing, they just right now get 10%, and they slowly build up their market share slowly over time, and it just doesn't stop. The train doesn't stop anywhere. Then they're going to be just fine. Well, but I know it doesn't necessarily look good. We know that they're slowing down their orders. That's true. But they are very new to this market versus everybody else. So
but think about it this way. 11 years in, the iPhone is still only 15% of the market.
Yeah, they don't care. That's fine with
them. I think, to me, the trick here is the fact that they're
15. Yeah, but you got to put that in full context. 15% of the market for one manufacturer.
Yeah, and there are no really.
If you do it by manufacturer, what Android single manufacturer?
No. They're talking platform. Manufacturer.
No. You can't say it like that. You got to go by manufacturer.
No. Because it doesn't matter. Because an Android phone is an Android phone, regardless of who makes it. It doesn't matter.
So what manufacturer makes your phone?
I've got an LG.
And what's the percentage of market
that's not the point. The point is the operating system.
That's what we just said. Apple only holds 15%. Well, what other manufacturer holds 15%?
System. The operating system is only 15%.
Jimmy, you just got a little riled up there. It's great. I loved it.
So, it's just not a fair statement.
No, it is. It's completely a fair statement. Because because we're talking Android versus
Samsung.
iPhone versus whatever, Windows Phone versus
Samsung by itself actually does sit higher than Apple. So
yeah.
Yes,
and
that is a fair statement.
yeah, so Samsung as a single manufacturer outdoes Apple as a percentage of the marketplace. But
Right.
so a couple of things. One thing I do want to say, I think that Apple's biggest problem and the main reason it is struggling so much in the market share on this is not like, part of it is that they missed the holiday season, right? So they didn't get those big bulk of sales. And that means that a lot of those people that were wanting to get like a smart speaker or something like that, they ended up buying one of the other products,
Sure.
Google or some. Now, a lot of them didn't. People like Jimmy that are diehard loyalists, well, or at least more loyal to Apple. They waited for Apple to come out with their product. But people that were kind of on the fence that might have gotten an Apple product, if it would have been available, they didn't because they had other options. The other thing is Apple came in at the high end of the market, and they don't offer any lower tiers. Whereas with my Amazon Echo, there's a $200 one, there's a $100 one, and then there's the Echo Dots that are like $50, and you can regularly get them less than that. Mm-hmm. And they integrate with a bunch of other solutions to provide good sound and provide functionality. So I think that Apple's lack of market share is partly because they don't have all of those, and they also, as a result, don't get the multiple customers. So going out and buying three $350 speaker systems is unreasonable, but I have 2 Dots and an Echo because why not? The Dots are cheap. I got one of them free at work. I picked one of them up for like $30, and then I've got the actual Echo itself that I paid. I got discounted because I was an early Prime member. I got it for like $80 or something. But so
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, again, I mean, Apple's only been in this business since February or something like that, right? So I mean, I mean, maybe eventually they will have, more of a selection. Maybe they'll have a cheaper version of the HomePod or something. Maybe, I guess they'll come out with the HomePod Mini, I guess is what they'll come out with, or something like that, right? But yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on there, Michael. I mean, the other manufacturers, they got more of a selection. They've got a lower price point.
And also,
people always are going to go for cheap, right? I mean, there's always going to be that cheap market. It's always there.
Well, and there's also you're paying so much more, and it doesn't have any of it doesn't have nearly as many like uses like the other ones have. Integration, like if you read through that article, a lot of there's a lot of back and forth between two people about why they did or didn't buy it, and that's the thing that keeps coming back up is I can do so much with my Google Home or my Amazon Echo, but I can't do any of that with
one thing to remember though, Jimmy, is the fact that yes, the Amazon Echo Dot is the cheap thing, right? But for people that have already invested in a high-end solution like a Sonos, and they've got a large Sonos system, now they hook up a $30 to $50 Dot, depending on what kind of deal they get.
Control the Sonos,
and now they can control it with their voice and have all of that additional functionality. So Apple has their solution, which, as is Apple's way, works with Apple and is designed around Apple. Amazon said, well, hey, what if we make it to where it easily integrates with all of these other solutions? And as a result, you end up getting a thing that is far more useful to a lot more people without them having to spend a ton of money to accommodate this platform that Apple has designed. And yet they still get high quality, in fact, better quality sound, at least is my understanding. I haven't
Sonos is amazing.
Correctly, but Sonos is supposed to be really, really good. And the HomePod is just, from what I hear, just good, right? So, that's your point about it being cheap and people going for cheap is fair, but it's also not totally fair because Amazon intentionally made their product work with high-end solutions that people already own.
All right. I think we should move on to our next story since we have so many stories and we spent a lot of time on this one.
Yeah, we
Guys,
did.
guess what? Comcast and Netflix are getting together. They're kind of going to be working together. They're going to be trying to bundle their services together.
What does the caption say above that story in the document?
What does the caption say in the story in the document?
Yeah, each one has commentary.
I know. I have to go back there. Comcast and Netflix sitting in a tree.
There you go. STREAMING.
Correct. All right. Well, that basically Comcast is working with Netflix in order to provide a free or a bundle, basically.
Let's say free.
No, nothing in life is free. A bundled account for Netflix based on your Comcast subscription. So there's lots of wondering why this is happening. Like, is there something to do with the AT&T buying Time Warner? Is there something going on with the fact that everybody who has the Comcast already buys Netflix? And there's a bunch of questions going on. Go ahead.
Let's say it's almost guaranteed it's about Comcast trying to retain their customers, saying, oh, no, you don't have to leave. You can get it. You can get that Netflix that you want to watch on our X1 box that we're charging. And they want that X1 box to be in your house because they charge you, like, I think it's $50 a month just to have it.
Nope. $10 a month.
Okay, is it 10? Okay.
A Netflix subscription.
Yeah, and you have to have it to use your Comcast stream, and because you have to be on the network, and you can't run your own router, and they want that. They want that. So,
You know what my favorite sentence is in this article? No matter how the customer pays for access to Netflix, it still counts as part of the 1 terabyte data cap.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Comcast? No.
yeah. I mean, this may be good for your, like, 65-year-old dad that's not going to be down with learning a Roku or an Apple TV, wants his cable.
That's exactly the person who is going to love this. It's going to be the person who just watches the cable, flip. Oh, there's the Netflix channel. It says click here to watch movies on Netflix. Click, and it just launches Netflix. Yeah. Oh, cool. I didn't know all these things were here. Click. And then when they turn it off and turn it back on, it goes right back to the Comcast screen. Yeah, it's going to be perfect for that.
This makes total sense for Netflix. Netflix should be putting their product on every device in the world in any way possible and taking those subscription dollars and laughing as they sit back and count their money. It makes no sense for Comcast. This is them trying to stay relevant. It is going to benefit them so little that it's ridiculous, because what my prediction is, they will find more customers that decide, you know what, Netflix has more than I need, and it's only $10 a month. Then they'll actually get customers that stick around or that buy their service or put more money in their pocket as a result.
Yeah.
I don't see this helping Comcast.
Hey, Comcast, if you're listening, take my advice. If you get somebody coming in on this deal, get the Netflix and say, hey, if you buy Netflix through us, we'll take off the data cap.
I will say this does meet my basic desire, though, to have all the things in all the places. Yeah. Because, I mean, there are people that legitimately are happy with Comcast, and that's awesome. My buddy is one of them, and he has no desire to use a streaming device. And this would work for him, and, rock on. One size does not fit all, so rock on.
Speaking of Netflix,
I was going to say, I hope they're happy. They live happily ever after in this union.
Speaking of Netflix, which you can watch on your Comcast X1, Jessica Jones is going to be getting a third season because apparently everybody loves watching it.
Everybody but Clyde.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything though. Clyde doesn't like anything.
Yeah, Clyde's like the
No. Clyde likes things, but the minute Amazon finds out that I'm willing to pay for something, they go,
See,
nope, cancel it.
That's the difference. If they were canceling the show, then Clyde would like it.
Exactly.
Dang it, why are they canceling Jessica Jones? It's my favorite show. It's the only show on Netflix.
Oh, Clyde finally started liking it.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm still. I started watching season 2 of Jessica Jones a month or two ago, and I was enjoying it. I will go back. I will eventually watch it. I do like the show. It's a fun, miserable, awesome experience. And
Fun, miserable?
Yep. I mean, Jessica Jones, if you've seen it, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, she's awesome and miserable and fun all rolled into one, and it's great. You feel a little bit seedy and depressed just watching her live her life in such a miserable way, but it's great. It's enjoyable. I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe it makes me feel better about myself. I have a better life, and I don't even have superpowers.
All right. Well, hey, congratulations. I wanted to like that show so much because of David Tennant.
So I actually watched the first season of Daredevil, and I really, really enjoyed it very much so. But I haven't watched any of the other of that series or any of those series, and so it's not because I don't want to. It's because that first episode, that first series from Daredevil really sucked me in to the point where I couldn't stop watching it, and sometimes I don't have that kind of time in my life. So now I'm in trouble because there's a whole bunch of spin-offs on that. Many are very good. So
as things slow down at school for the summer, maybe you can catch up. I don't know if that actually works for you, but the main ones, I've liked all of them, and Defenders I thought was outstanding. Yes. But it's way better to watch Defenders after you watch the others, because then you know and understand the characters and whatnot.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I would echo that recommendation.
All right.
All right. Martin Scorsese, also a Netflix thing, is there. He's going to make a special for the streaming service based on the Second City group from Canada. They're a group of comedians that made a bunch of variety shows.
A couple people that you might have heard of.
Maybe.
Like, what was his name? The fat guy,
John Candy.
Is it Candy? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin, he was like a really short guy. What was his name?
Smalls.
Well, Rick the Moranis. Well, he was on there too, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, rock on. I'm kind of into these, doc things lately, so.
Yeah, whatever. I won't watch it. But
I know growing up, SCTV, I preferred SCTV over Saturday Night Live. But that was also in the Joe Piscopo, like, not quite, like, late 80s, when Saturday Night Live wasn't really that good anyway, so. But.
Yeah, I was in high school when Saturday Night Live first aired.
In 1972?
It was 75, it was, I believe.
Wow. All right. Moving on, we have a story about Hulu. Basically, it goes like this. Do you have Hulu? Do you want HBO? You have $5. There you go.
Yep.
And this is a good deal. I'm thinking about canceling my Hulu Now and doing it through Hulu. Or, HBO Now and do it through Hulu.
You may as well.
Don't mix those up.
Yeah. Well, you knew what I meant.
That is a good deal.
Well, doesn't Hulu cost $10, right?
If you're already subscribing to Hulu and you're subscribing to HBO Now,
So if you want HBO, even you basically could get Hulu free. So this is definitely appealing to me because there's some HBO stuff that I would be interested in watching, but I don't have Hulu or HBO. I'm probably not going to do it because I just have so much stuff to watch on the stuff I already pay for, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Eventually, I'm going to probably watch some of these shows. So,
and I will say too that if you are a Hulu subscriber, you can subscribe to Showtime. I think the regular price is about $11 a month, but if you do it through Hulu, you'll save $3 a month. You can subscribe to them for $9 a month.
Ooh, actually, I wonder if. Oh no, you can't. Never mind. I was going to say you could take advantage of that Hulu Spotify deal, and then add HBO. But nope, that's the thing that breaks the Spotify deal is you can't have any add-ons. So never mind.
Bummer.
So
all right. If you're a YouTuber out there and you were kind of upset with the fact that YouTube went through this demonetization thing that hit the news, it was a really big deal. They are working on making it slightly better and opening up dialogues with the YouTubers in order to make things a little bit easier for you to make more money. In particular, they're working on guidelines and making things more advertiser friendly and showing you what does work and what doesn't work as far as what their advertisers want. It's an interesting project that they've got here.
I have lost pretty much all interest in anything YouTube. As of just the crap they've been doing, and it was when they shut down, like basically took down videos of the firearm videos and stuff like that. It was like the final straw. I was just like, I'm done.
I think to me this is huge because this is way late, really. I mean, finally they're getting around to realizing that these people that have been making them successful and that they have an actual agreement with that makes them money, but there's that little line that says that YouTube can change that agreement at any time without warning. And that's the problem. That's while they have the right to do that because they write the terms of service and you agree to it, that's not how you have a relationship, a healthy, good relationship with your most important customers. And the people that make the content are ultimately the most important customers because if they go away, you lose all of your viewers. So I think that's a huge deal. They should have been doing this kind of thing all along. I think that it's a good idea to work to help ease that. And but to Clyde's point, maybe this is a little too late. I know a lot of people that have abandoned YouTube or are putting their efforts to go to other places and move their communities, and it's hurt them for sure.
Yeah, if you've noticed, our videos have been sporadically showing up on there, partly because I don't go to YouTube anymore, and I keep forgetting. Oh, yeah, I gotta take that off of private.
I'm personally never thought of YouTube as a platform to make money. So for that reason, I really never thought of it like that way. Never. I mean, I can understand people who were using it as a way of making money and how it affected them that changed, and I can understand that. But since I never thought of it that way, I thought, hey, cool, it's this free service. You could upload your videos, and they're
which is fine. I have no issues really with how they pay people because whatever, it's them just deciding, hey, I'm going to take down your video because now it's today and I don't like the videos that you're making. That's what made me. It was there all of a sudden. Yeah. Hey, we are the playground where you can post anything that you want. You're awesome as long as it's not, owned by somebody else. But then they go, oh, with no warning, oh, everybody that ever made a video that, fits into this category, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
They've had a few gaffes, for sure.
Yeah, they need to ease up on the content Nazi there.
All right. Amazon is turning a story written by William Gibson. It's called The Peripheral. and they're taking it into making it one of their own little series, which is William Gibson is best known for a book called Neuromancer, which apparently everybody everywhere wants to see being made into a movie. But no, what we're getting a story that he wrote in 2014 called The Peripheral, which I've never heard of, and they're going to be making it into a new sci-fi thriller on Amazon Studios.
I know nothing about it, but I still approve. More sci-fi is always better.
Agreed.
As long as it's well done.
Okay, moving on, since we're running out of time. ESPN Plus. I'm sorry, did I just cut you off?
No, I was going to say we have all the time in the world. There is no cutoff.
Okay, fine. ESPN Plus is now streaming on Roku devices, which reminds me, did we even talk about the fact that it was actually officially streaming now?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. That it was when we talked about it. I think was when it first launched.
$5 service, right?
$5 per month or $50 a year, and you get all.
Wow, you get that too?
Yeah,
they throw it in.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's
that
about what you get. It's about as good as a sneeze. That's whatever.
Well, I mean, you are getting so starting next season, you'll get an NHL game a day. Right now, you're already getting a baseball game a day, Major League. So, and it is set up based on your local area. So from what I understand, you'll get games that you actually care about potentially. So, yeah. I mean, if you're into the sports ball and, $5.
If it works out like that, then that's cool. My expectation was always that they were going to be airing the show, the baseball game that nobody wants to watch. So, the Expos are playing.
Well, I would pay to see the Expos play.
Yeah, exactly. But you get my point. It's like when the Expos were playing, that was the team that was very unpopular because they were not doing particularly well back when I was watching the Braves play, and so that would be the team that you would air in your second rate service, right? Because nobody's actually wanting to pay money for that. So
we have a story, the fact that Hulu has decided to make a documentary based off of a festival that happened last year, almost took place last year. A festival called the Fire Festival, which I have never heard about. Apparently, this guy named Billy McFarland was trying to set this up with rapper Ja Rule. I don't know, maybe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And
you don't remember Ja Rule from the 90s? That's how relevant he is. He's from the 90s. And I don't even think he was that big in the 90s.
So apparently this was a festival. It was supposed to happen in the Bahamas. And it was supposed to be this, this cool thing that apparently went TU really fast. And I guess it's called the Fire Festival, not only because of the plenty of spelling of fire, but also because it went up in smoke real fast. So, has anybody heard of this thing?
No.
Well, I think we are of the wrong ethnicity to have known about it, or we're too old.
Because I need to see a documentary about this in order to know what it is. So thank you, Hulu. I appreciate it.
Right in the name, the Fire, FYRE, that's young hipster kind of generation slang for cool.
But realize that this never took place too, right? Like this was to a large extent, this was a fraudulent thing where they mostly just ripped off a bunch of investors. Now, I'm not saying that they intentionally did, but they ended up doing that. Effectively, they got a bunch of people to invest money, and then they never produced a show. And so it's maybe you didn't hear about it because of that.
All right, Netflix has come out with a big old number of subscribers. And guess what? They just hit 125 million with the big M on that. What do you guys think? Is that apparently they actually leveled out for a while? They weren't making that many, getting many subscribers, and then this quarter they went ahead and made an additional 1.96 million in the U.S. It's a total of 7.4 million subscribers. That's a lot.
Yeah, so headline, Netflix still has all the people.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, Netflix is winning the war on cord cutting. No doubt about it.
I actually, the other day, I had to log into Netflix to change my billing, my, card, and I realized, holy crap, I'm paying $15 a month now for Netflix, and I almost canceled it. That's how little I watch Netflix anymore.
All right, we have a story here about Google is working to make 3D models of ancient monuments. They are making a virtual tour for you to see old ancient monuments in your 3D. So you are able to see things like the Colosseum and when it was fully built, and they were using information from a company called SciArc in order to make this. So you can right now go and look at 25 different historic locations available for you to view.
So you're telling me I can go on vacation and visit all those touristy places without having to deal with stinky backwater countries and long international flights?
Yes, but you will have to deal with the fact that you'll have to put this thing on your face, do 3D VR,
Sign me up.
and it'll get stinky and sweaty too. So it's kind of like you're there.
Yeah, but when it's you that's stinky and sweaty, you don't notice.
True.
This sounds awesome. I'm totally excited about that.
Very cool.
Sign me up.
Filio, that the little streaming company that you might have forgotten about, is still doing their thing. Their $16 a month package, which gets you all the things that you can't get in any other streaming service, basically like Nickelodeon and the Discovery Channel. And they're now getting that to work on your Apple devices, like your Apple TV.
Okay, what service is this?
Filio.
Philo?
Is it Filio or Philo? It's Philo.
Philo?
Don't call it Filio.
Philo?
Filio.
Filio, what's the dealio?
However you say it, it's a great service. It's cheap if you don't care about sports. They're finally coming to the lesser used platforms. Awesome.
Very cool.
No response from Jimmy. No fired up Jimmy.
Well,
you took all the spice out of the room.
Shots fired.
I mean, Apple is so less used. I'm sure they're about to go out of business, right?
They might. I mean, when they feel the sting of all the lack of speaker sales, it sinks the ship.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they're quaking in their boots about that.
No, there will be no Quake because they can't play games.
All right, moving on.
That was almost a good one.
I try.
So apparently, the European market wants to have something like MoviePass, so they're making something called CPass, which will allow you to go ahead and watch movies when you want, just like you can with MoviePass.
CPass is so relevant that they got a picture of Donnie Darko. No, hey, I mean, European markets deserve a MoviePass like thing, so rock on. Good for them. Hopefully people don't buy it thinking they're getting a CPAP.
Yeah, the name's a little weird, isn't it? It's like
You
Filio,
cannot-
it's just a little weird.
If you buy what is it? CPass, it will not keep you from possibly suffocating in your sleep. The disclaimer.
All right. So apparently, the AI is now being able to draw cartoons. I did not read about this story, so I'm going to just kind of wing it.
Ah.
Apparently, they've been able AI has been able to look at cartoons. In particular, it looks like Flintstones, analyze how the show works, and is able to draw what is happening in the cartoon based on a script.
Yeah, I recommend actually reading through this when you get a chance because so what they were talking about is once they fed in enough data, it was able to identify objects and isolate and piece together stuff based on what you told it. It wasn't good, but with something like the Flintstones, where there's not a lot going on, Hanna-Barbera's traditional static background, it was able to make something that was passable. Right now, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to make something like modern, too busy. But yeah, I mean, they're moving in the right direction. I know there are animation studios out there that will either be waiting with bated breath to the point that, they can just pump stuff out. And then also animators that are going to be like
picking up arms,
quaking in their boots because, they're taking our gerbs. But
as we've said previously, we'll be happy to replace ourselves with the AI versions of ourselves so we can just sit back and watch our own show. We're good with it.
No, it'll be me and a bunch of AIs. That's what you're saying?
Well, I don't mind. I don't mind talking to AI. That'd be fine. But you guys, if you want to go AI, that's cool with me. Cool.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. It's kind of it's a deep article. There's a lot of information in there that kind of has to sink in. But it's a good glimpse at the things to come.
Very cool. Another Hulu story. Hulu has taken the Sarah Silverman show called I Love You, America, and decided that they're going to give it a second season.
Yeah, this is one of those shows that keeps showing up in my curated feed that I was complaining about last week of all the shows that I
literally the target audience for that
that
show.
I have absolutely no interest in watching. So I'm just not a Sarah Silverman fan. So,
cool.
But congratulations, Sarah. I know you need the money.
PlayStation Vue has decided that one of the things that they should be supporting is the Chromebook. This is a cool thing. I want more of these streaming services to support the Chromebook platform because the Chromebook platform is awesome.
Students will be watching PlayStation Vue in study halls around the country.
That's right. Actually, that's very true. They will probably get a big bump from students in colleges who got nothing but a Chromebook from their parents.
Yeah.
But I'm a little confused here. I mean, couldn't they log into through their web browser already?
No. Yeah, so that's the thing. I think this is totally ridiculous because really it should be PlayStation Vue adds internet access to their service. So you can do it, or desktop or browser access, or however you want to phrase it. You cannot access your PlayStation Vue account through a browser right now. And so this is a Chromebook app that allows you to do this rather than them they still continue to refuse to allow access via a standard browser. Now, that's probably got something to do, or as much to do with contracts and stuff as it does anything else, but still, you can't watch your PlayStation Vue in Chrome, for example, on your desktop or your laptop.
I'm curious YouTube TV should work in a Chromebook. I'll have to find out next time I have a Chromebook handy.
Well, it should, as long as you're running Chrome browser, right, because YouTube TV only works in Chrome.
And Firefox, as of last week.
Oh, that's right. As of last week, yeah. Which means I can now finally watch YouTube TV on my computer.
Yay!
Not that I would ever want to.
And we are now at our final story for the week. Yes, we've reached the letter U in our list because I'm trying to crash Clyde's browser every week. It's getting a little bit longer. making his tabs much more full.
I've had to do this dance that I pull off so well of adding them in when you guys aren't paying attention.
I'm trying to crash the stream. That's what I'm trying to do. Seriously, DDoS the stream by putting too many articles in it. Anyways, DirecTV has just dropped support for the first generation Fire TV.
Which, this is an update because a few days ago, maybe a month ago, they said that they had already announced that they're dropping support for the first generation Fire Stick. Now they doubled down and said, oh no, the Fire TV box as well. So
yeah, the Fire TV box when it came out was a monster machine back in its time, so I'm surprised they dropped it.
Well, as we talked about before the show, I think it has to do with the fact that Amazon is not keeping up with updating the software. And rather than, putting out multiple versions of the same app, they want to only program for the most current version of OS.
If that's the case, then that's just as much Amazon's fault as it is.
This is definitely a choice of Amazon to do this, right?
Well, it's not Amazon. It's DirecTV Now that says they're not going to be making an app, or they're not going to support the older apps anymore.
Sorry.
But yeah. But I mean, you see the same thing with Roku's, and I mean, even like Apple TVs. Like in the previous generations, they just go, "Oh, yep, nope, that version doesn't get the new OS, and this new." So, like, apps no longer work because, it makes no sense.
Well, my point to saying that this sits on Amazon is that Amazon is not updating the software on those devices.
Right.
So they're allowing the software on that device to fall outdated. And DirecTV rightfully doesn't want to keep an infinite number of versions of their software, right? So every new piece of hardware that comes out, they have to create a version of the software that works on that, and then in theory would maintain all of the older versions. And that does not make sense. I stand behind DirecTV saying that they don't want to maintain these old versions of the app. It falls on Amazon for saying, we are not going to keep updating this old piece of hardware.
Now, keep in mind, that's all pure speculation on my end, because the article doesn't really know. They didn't go into any, but that would be my assumption based on what it's seen with other platforms. And so.
But I mean, that first gen Fire TV, I mean, how many years has it been out? 3, 4 years?
Like pushing 5, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that just, I don't know. I just find it interesting that, that short of time and all of a sudden, oh, okay, we're going to drop something.
I mean, you figure that, it probably doesn't have as much memory. It can't support 4K. There's a whole bunch of things that have been added after the fact that, there was no voice control in the first generation. And, voice control is heavily built into the newer versions of the OS. And then, even from Amazon's standpoint, how many versions of the OS are you going to put out? And then you have to deal with people complaining that, well, something's broken. I don't have this feature. And you have to constantly explain, well, you don't have that feature because you're on a device that doesn't support it. And it's just like, when Apple stopped supporting specific laptops because, nope, sorry, High Sierra doesn't run on that or whatever. And, there are hardware limitations.
Yeah, but if it was a Mac of 3 or 4 years ago, it would still work, right?
Yeah, and we're talking like 5.
Well, okay, so 2 things. First of all, the Fire TV is exactly 4 years and 4 days old. So maybe just 4 years is enough.
So by Apple standards, it's a dinosaur.
It's just a question. It's simply a question of how long do you support the hardware. Yeah. And 4 years seems a little short for me, knowing that, like you said, it was a monster when it was released. It was a solid piece of hardware. It seems improbable that they can't, if they if they chose to, that they couldn't have developed the software in such a way that it would be fully backwards compatible, just minus the functionality of those features. Voice integration, while that's been heavily integrated into the app now, there's absolutely no reason that they couldn't have that feature turned off on and then release that software to the older device. It might take a little bit more work, but if they did something like that, then what they would be able to do is almost indefinitely support first gen, or at least several more years.
The other thing is, imagine if this model, this first generation Fire TV, was the one that was being given away for free with 3 months of service from DirecTV, and then they dropped it. Imagine how bad the stink would be in that case.
That would be bad.
That would be the worst. All right, and that is our entire list of news for the week. I do not think we will make it this far this next week. We never know, though. Maybe we'll get to the letters.
If I hadn't gone through and deleted that one article, we would have been at V. V. But, well, you know what? We're in the time of year where people are fighting amongst each other about stupid movies.
Yeah.
I think it's time for...
Welcome to your BT Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of April 16, 2018. I'm your host, Big Boss Jay. I'm just one stomach throw away from my goal
We're lying.
1982. Let's go to the
Jay.
scoreboard. Teams Have a Drink, The VOD Squad, and Walking Drunk are tied, still waiting for their first film. Team Movie Party's in third place with $39.5 million. Team Game Night, with Ready Player One bringing in over $11.5 million this past weekend, is in second place with $117 million. And with Truth or Dare, Rampage, and A Quiet Place combined, Team Ritual Misery is in first place with a sizable $168.4 million. That's your Movie Draft Minute for the week of April 16, 2018. All totals are as of 6 p.m. Central, Wednesday the 18th.
All right. I want to give a big thank you to Big Voice Jay for giving us that audio clip that you forgot they couldn't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear it, so we didn't know there was an audio clip.
No, we talked about it before the show.
I wasn't here then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hey, we've got movement. You guys are still waiting for your first movie.
Yeah, we're a little late.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we're sitting here quietly in wait, hiding in the weeds, and ready to pounce and take.
I want to talk.
Over.
I want to talk about what's going on in the draft right now, and just remark on a couple things. There's thing Ready Player One underperforming. I thought that movie would make a lot more money than it did. So interesting. Second thing, Blockers.
well, it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. I was,
Exactly.
I thought it was a $25 million movie. I've got $39 million out of it so far. I'll take it.
Okay, so we're going to skip A Quiet Place and go to Truth or Dare. And doing about exactly as what we thought. And Rampage, actually, probably a little underperforming what I thought it might do again. But then we got A Quiet Place. Dang, guys, that movie is rocking. Anybody see it yet?
Nah.
No? Okay.
I might see it when it gets to the dollar theater, but
I
don't care.
I want to look ahead of next week. We will be seeing, I believe, I Feel Pretty and Super Troopers 2, both owned by Team Have a Drink. So
You'll finally be on the board.
They'll be making a little dough next weekend. The question is how much.
Well, they will be making some dough directly following that with Avengers Infinity War.
And they've already edited. So the funny thing is, Avengers Infinity War already has 20 of my dollars. So
yeah. So yeah.
So who got A Quiet Place? Who ended up with that?
Ritual Misery.
financial misery that everybody was laughing at that one, thinking, no, they don't. It was. I think I said verbally that's worth $2, and
no, I don't think anybody was laughing at it. You were the one that was like shit talking it, but
maybe a little. But man, it is rocking. This it is making the most bang for the buck out of all the different movies. So
yeah, and dude, they paid $14 for it.
I know.
And the only reason they did that was so that you guys couldn't buy it.
I know. Okay, fine. All right. So
but rock on. So
I love talking about this stuff. Little speculation, what's going to happen here. This is good stuff.
Yeah, we can talk about that stuff in the after show. Stick around. But before we get there. There we are. That's my rant.
Okay.
What do you guys got? What you got?
Who's going first?
You are.
Okay. All right. So, it seems like every week I rant about Bosch. Like, oh, hey, can't wait till the next season come out. Right?
I know. I wish they would freaking release it.
And then all of a sudden it's out. And just before I was going to sit down and watch it, I watched the first episode of Lost in Space. And I'll tell you, it has just sucked me right in.
And then he got lost in space.
I am lost in space now. Yeah, exactly right. It is a great show, better than what I thought it would be. And if you're into science fiction, if you remember the old TV series Lost in Space, right? It, in some aspects, kind of holds true to that, but it's a little bit different story than what we saw, the original TV series. But it's really well done, true, good quality science fiction. It's got a good story to it. I think even if you're not a science fiction fan, I think you would like this show.
Yeah, remind me when we get into the after show. I've got a little bit of trivia for you. It could be a little bit spoilery, so I'll give people a chance to run away. But
fair enough.
Yeah, remind me. Lost in Space.
But I am enjoying the show, and probably as soon as I get done watching that show, I think I'm about 5 episodes into Lost in Space now. So as soon as I finish that one, then I'm immediately starting on Bosch right after that.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead.
All right. Well, I didn't know what I was watching this week. What did I do this weekend? I think I went to the card shop and played games of Yu-Gi-Oh with my son there for hours on end. I mean, I really did not do any media consumption at all this weekend. And so I was like, what in the world am I going to talk about during rants or raves? I have no idea. Wait a second. What's today's date? It's April 18th. Monty Python is on Netflix. I know what I'm doing tonight. And possibly exposing my son to, maybe. We'll see.
The flying circus.
But you do realize that this segment doesn't have to be about what you're watching. It could be a rant and rave about anything.
I don't have anything to rant or rave about. Okay. Except for Yu-Gi-Oh, which is, not my thing, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I may have to check some of that out. I haven't seen many of the Monty Python shows, so just Holy Grail so far. So I will probably check some of those out. I'm kind of in a similar boat. I haven't watched much media this last week. I've been wanting to go see Ready Player One. I've heard bad things about it, but I loved the book, so I'm still going to go see it. I just haven't gotten a chance to. So that's my rant, is that I haven't had a chance. The reason I haven't had a chance is because I'm trying to find a house to buy, and so that takes up a little bit of time, plus work and stuff. Finding a house to buy is such a pain, and the crazy, ridiculous housing market where I live, like, I get emails when houses go on the market, and literally in the same minute, I'll get the email, oh, that house came on the market and sold, because houses are sold before they go on the market, and it's just totally crazy.
Mm.
Not appreciating that. Come on, guys. You guys don't want a house that bad. Chill out a little bit.
Yeah. And I will say, Jimmy brought up Bosch. See, I had, as I alluded to at the beginning, a little bit of a snowstorm, so I was trapped in the house starting Friday night until Sunday, when I was finally able to like get out in the, So that meant I saw that Bosch was released with no fanfare, no warning. It was just out. So this weekend I watched the entire season of Bosch. It was pretty good. An entire series of some bad ink tattoo show, which shows just how freaking bored I was. I watched an entire season, the only season of a reality show, and I can't stand reality TV.
Oh, man.
It was because it was on YouTube Live, and it was just kept auto-playing the next episodes as I was sitting here going, no more. And then, I watched a few episodes of Lost in Space, and I've got some thoughts. I mean, for the most part, I think I like it. Some things that kind of irk me, but yeah. But bottom line, rant, snow. It's freaking the middle of April. But
Okay.
all right, well then, this is the point where we say thank you to everybody that comes out every week to participate in this madness, and also where I apologize to M-Beam because I completely missed when you dropped those bits earlier. Thanks, dude. We appreciate it. But hey, we are here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central on Twitch. Come join us when it's live. We'll have the most fun. We've got, what was I gonna say? If you have any thoughts, opinions, just want to yell at us, you can find us on Twitter at the VOD Squad. Also, feel free to go out to the YouTube and search for our videos, like them. If you haven't thrown a subscription or do that, because we really would like to get that vanity URL at some point so people don't have to search as deeply to find our videos. But even if I'm not particularly happy with YouTube right now, we could still use the support over there. So that may change at some point. But I guess if you're here, stick around. We got all those titles we need to vote on, and then but other than that, guys,
Laters.
We'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.